yelled from the front seat. Not wanting to antagonize them in any way, Glenn and I sat in silence. As a gesture of support and encouragement, we clasped each other's hands for the rest of the trip. As the vehicle continued to wind its way through the streets of Tehran, my mind was buzzing with a number of possible scenarios, all of them frightening. Were we headed for another meeting, a cold jail, or something far worse? A chill ran up my spine when I realized no one except our captors knew where we were. We were totally at their mercy and could easily wind up dead at the side of the road with a bullet hole in the back of our heads. Since we didn't have our passports, no one would know who we were or where we came from. Right then I lowered my head and offered a silent prayer, telling God I believed He was in control of every situation, even this one, though my silent words did little to settle my churning stomach. Suddenly the Nissan screeched to a halt. I could hear both front doors swing open, and Mr. Akram and the driver climbed out. Moments later, the back door of the Nissan Patrol swung open. I awaited the order to get out, but it did not come. Instead, another man was pushed into the back seat and wedged beside us. Squinting out the side of my blindfold, I could see an Iranian man about 50 years old. The doors to the vehicle slammed shut, and we were off once again. As the car raced through the streets, I wondered who the unfortunate man beside me was. What had an Iranian citizen done to incur the wrath of his own government? Could he possibly be a follower of Jesus? Or a renegade Muslim who refused to pray in public? Either case could bring serious consequences. Though I wished I knew his story, there was no way I could talk to him to satisfy my curiosity and take my mind off my own problems. We drove on for about 10 minutes, winding our way through narrow city streets, until finally we stopped. I heard large iron gates being swung open. The driver exchanged a few words with someone outside the vehicle, and then we drove on into what I surmised to be some sort of compound. When the Nissan Patrol came to a halt this time, the three of us were ordered out. Over the course of the drive, I had managed to loosen my blindfold enough so I could see out the side and the bottom of it. While Mr. Akram was talking to someone, I turned my head and strained to catch a glimpse of where we were. Without my glasses, though, I could only make out a cream-colored concrete wall in the distance. I felt a shove from behind, and I stumbled forward, trying to regain my balance. "Follow me," a voice hissed, as a hand clamped around my wrist and began pulling me to the right. My heart thumped wildly, and I could feel the bands of fear tightening their grip around my chest. I knew if I didn't do something, the wave of panic that was rising inside would overwhelm me, and I wouldn't be able to face whatever lay ahead. To help focus my mind, I began to count the number of stairs I was being led up. 1, 3, 5, 8, 10. When we reached the top of the stairs, Glenn and I were led into a room. "Take off your blindfolds," someone in the room commanded. I blinked as my eyes adjusted to the bright fluorescent lights that hung from the grimy ceiling. 5 men with menacing looks on their faces stood in the room staring at us. One was Mr. Akram, who, from the very beginning of our capture a few hours ago, was the only one to speak to us. The other 4 were dressed in crumpled uniforms. I saw no sign of the Iranian captive who had ridden with us. Much to my relief, Mr. Akram pulled my glasses from his inside coat pocket and handed them back to me. He watched as I put them on and then, without uttering a single word, turned and walked out of the room, leaving Glenn and me in the custody of the 4 men in uniforms. As the door shut behind Mr. Akram, one of the uniformed men tore 2 black trash bags from a roll in the corner. "Here," he said, handing a bag to me. "Take everything off and put..."